If your home render farm isn't ready for RTX 5090, you're already obsolete. GPU compute demand exploded 85% in 2023, according to Omdia data. Smart founders know the real bottleneck isn't code, it's rendering capacity. A 4 GPU node now costs $12,000 to $18,000 in 2024, depending on enterprise parts. You can't wing 4K auto rendering with 8GB cards anymore. 24GB VRAM will be mandatory in 2025 for any serious 4K pipeline. Out-of-memory errors kill deadlines and client trust. Professional studios lost millions when frames failed mid-batch. Netflix and Amazon Prime push 8K textures to millions of viewers. Your home node must match that pressure or die on price performance. TCO isn't just hardware cost. Power and cooling dominate year 2 spend. Expect 900 watts to 1100 watts draw from a dual RTX 4090 rig under full load. That demands a dedicated 20-amp circuit to avoid breaker trips. Get any component wrong, and your farm goes dark right before deadline. This blueprint will outstrip mediocre cloud costs and secure your edge. NVIDIA's Blackwell architecture in late 2024 promises up to 2x ray tracing speed over 4090. In its investor call, NVIDIA said next-gen perf per watt climbs by 40%. RTX 5090 is projected to handle 8K path tracing without breaking a sweat. AMD's Threadripper 795WX sits at 96 cores and 192 threads for CPU light transport sims. Geekbench records show 79995X scoring 120 over 7950X in multi-thread. Studio X cut Houdini sim runtimes by 60% Studio X at ILM. Ray-traced workflows drop 1.8x with Blackwell plus OptX AI denoising. OptX cuts required samples per frame by 75% with no visible artifacts. Founders baking multi-day sims now finish in hours. Keep CPUs and GPUs balanced or you'll bottleneck and toss money. According to Amdahl's law, unbalanced threads waste your entire farm. Threadripper's massive L3 cache feeds GPUs faster than Xeon boxes. Studios swapping E5 servers for a 7995WX cut rack space by 30%. The Blackwell launch window is your make-or-break upgrade moment. Now we lock in memory and storage so nothing chokes throughput. A 24GB VRAM floor is non-negotiable for 4K production in 2025. Multi-GPU NVLink pools memory in Octane Render to avoid OEM crashes. Pixar's in-house nodes use NVLink bridges for seamless cross-GPU loads. TrendForce data shows PCIe Gen5 SSD shipments doubled in 2023. Crucial T705 hits 14,500 members reads to slash time to first pixel. Loading massive 8K texture caches in seconds beats cloud latency. CES 2024 demos showed Gen 5 outrunning Gen 4 by 3x under real loads. Never settle for SATA. Your frame prep pipeline will choke on I/O. Keep an NVMe boot drive for OS and a Gen 5 volume for assets. Pair Gen 5 drives in RAID 0 and watch texture loads halve. Remember, ECC DDR5 prevents bit flips during multi-day simulation bakes. Data shows bit flip rates double every 18 months on non-ECC DDR5. Rely on server-grade DIMMs to protect your days-long renders. Next, we tackle power and cooling so nothing throttles. Get it wrong and that 14,500 MB/s pipeline collapses under heat. Professional render nodes need a 1600-watt, 80+ Titanium PSU minimum. UL tests confirm Titanium models maintain 94% efficiency under load. High TDP GPUs can spike power by 500 watts in milliseconds. EKWB liquid cooling cuts GPU temps by 20 to 30 degrees versus stock air. Those same GPUs will thermal throttle after 48-hour runs on air. A dual 4090 setup draws up to 1100 watts. That kills cheap PSUs. Dedicated 20-amp residential circuits are non-negotiable. Prosumers trip breakers all the time. Don't be that guy. Consider dual PSU or redundant rails for maximum uptime. Liquid cooling also stabilizes power draw under sustained load. Server racks need proper airflow. Follow U-shaped intake rules. Failure to vent hot exhaust compresses performance exponentially. DIY chokes, cables, and cheap fans will wreck your ROI. Up next, the network backbone and software orchestration. Nail this, and you won't hear a single alarm light. Implementing a 10 GBE home backbone cuts sync time by 90% versus 1 GBE. Gartner found 10 GBE adoption in prosumer labs grew 70% in 2023. A NAS sync that took minutes now completes in seconds. Proxmox or Docker headless nodes guarantee 99.9% uptime. Spin isolated Blender or Redshift instances on the same box. AWS Deadline Local Render Manager gives a free 10-node license. Deadline automates frame distribution across your home farm. USD format handles Maya, Houdini, and Blender handoffs without glitches. Universal Scene Description is the glue in modern pipelines. Wake on LAN and IPMI 2.0 cut idle energy by 40%. WOOL rules let you shut down nodes when the queue empties. Robust IPMI gives remote KVM for instant troubleshooting. Avoid vendor lock-in with open-source orchestration tools. Next, the economics, energy hacks, and future-proof moves. By now, you've built a fortress of compute and data flow. Total cost of ownership for a 4-GPU render server runs $12K to $18K. McKinsey found hardware capex is only 30% of multi-year spend. Power and cooling become 50% of your bill by year 2. Harvard Business Review warns unchecked draw risks home labs. Use Wake on LAN to power down idle nodes and save 40% energy. Optex denoising cuts renders times and energy by up to 75%. AI denoise is no longer optional once you hit 8K. The universal scene description surge is reshaping asset handoffs. Failure to adopt USDT means pipeline chaos tomorrow. Data centers are already testing Blackwell-powered render blades. If you hesitate, cloud providers will eat your lunch at $3 per core hour. Game studios pay up to $10K monthly for render farms on AWS. DIY home server cuts that to a few $100s per month, but only if you nail every step we outlined today. Ignore this guide and your render farm becomes tomorrow's cautionary tale.